Hey everyone, today is December 2nd, 2016. It's kind of a big day for everybody. Today PlayStation is doing their big PSX event happening right now. Some big details. Sega has actually let loose that they're releasing Yakuza 6 and Kiwami back-to-back next year. So it's going to be a big year for Yakuza fans, which I'm excited for. Along with Persona 5 coming down the line too. Capcom's also announced Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which is available now on the PlayStation 4. And then on top of it, they've also announced that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which is supposedly a remake of the original game for a 2-on-2 Nathist character, will also be released sometime next year too as well. Which is kind of unusual. Usually their fighting games come out around February, March-ish time frame, and they're actually doing it outside of that time frame this year. Or this coming year, so that's kind of interesting. And of course, Akuma was revealed to be in Season 2 of Street Fighter V for the PlayStation 4, which some people are excited for. I'm interested to see what the 5 other characters that they're supposed to be releasing next year will be, and if they're going to tweak any more of the gameplay. I still feel kind of Street Fighter V has been a bit of a letdown, and with the fact that they're adding all these DLC characters, is there going to come a time where we're going to see an actual physical release on these, or are they going to remain DLC? So, some interesting times. They've also announced at least the Ys Origins will be coming to the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4. Now, if this is going to be physical versions or digital, still remains to be seen. As far as the Vita's been going for its life cycle, it seems to still be going strong. I kind of have a feeling that in 2017, it's still going to be kind of a mediocre year, but it'll still be alive quite well, with, of course, limited run supporting most of it. But you have some of the other third parties, such as the Ys Origins and a couple other publishers, like P-Cube seems to be kind of releasing stuff. Plus, you got Xseed still coming out with Akiba's Beat, Fate Extra, and a couple of the other titles coming up to next year. With December being right now, I think there's actually only 3 releases coming in December. 2 by Limited Run, and you have Shantae's Half Genie Hero being released by Xseed sometime in December. That was actually supposed to originally come out in October and was delayed to November and then late November, and now it's it was early December and now it's mid-December. So it remains to be seen if it's going to be pushed back anymore, or if, in fact, the 20th of December is going to be the final release date for that, and we'll finally have that physical. So I think for next year, too, there's going to be about 25, 26 so far that's actually been pending release for 2017 for the PlayStation Vita, and some other things coming down the lines, too, so we'll see how this goes. So anyway, enough chat of what's going to happen. Here's some of the pickups I picked up for November 2016. I'm actually going to start with a non-game release this time. This is something I've been waiting for several months that also got delayed. It was finally released, and it's still being trickled out slowly. And that is the Lan-Di statue from First 4 Figures. This is kind of a smaller box compared to some of the Sonic figures, but I ended up getting lucky number 3, which is the lowest number you could possibly get off of the factory line. So it's basically the first right on out the door. So this actually matches my Rio statue, which is also number 3. So I kind of have a set, I guess, of number 3. And unless you pause the video, actually you're not even going to see it. I don't even know if I can get it over there. There he is. You can kind of see him sitting right up there. So I've already got him unboxed and packed and waiting, so, and of course my camera's gonna fall. There we go. So, onto the game releases. We have, I actually picked up an Xbox 360 title. This is one I was kind of hunting for a while. I saw it in GameStop some time ago, and then it disappeared after I went back to get it about a week later. I don't know why, I just felt it was kind of an arcade-type release that I wanted to get a hold of. This is Sega Rally Revo, and it's your basic arcade, racer game off-road. So, I don't know what jolted me to do that, but supposedly the Xbox 360 version was kind of hard to find. It was also released on the PlayStation 3, which seems to be a little easier to find. I actually found a couple copies of those around here. And that game goes for about $5. The Sega Rally on the 360, for whatever reason, is about $10. So I'm not sure whether there's a $5 difference, if there was smaller print runs for the 360 versus the PS3, or what Sega did with that. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. And I can't tell you much about the game because I haven't gotten around to playing it yet. But one I have gotten around to playing that I actually just finished this afternoon was Root Letter for the PlayStation Vita. Kind of an interesting visual novel. Basically, you play as Max, who is trying to find this pen pal from 15 years ago they had back in high school. Why he didn't bother to try hunting down this girl in between that time, I don't know. He's now in his 30s. He got this final strange letter from her that wasn't postmarked that said, "I've killed somebody and I can never speak to you again." So this, for whatever reason, compels him to hunt down this girl and figure out what happened to her, who she is, and why she's stopped writing to him. So you travel across to Japan, you meet up with, or you investigate 7 or 8 of her friends, or supposedly her friends, and they each are hiding a secret. They won't tell you any information about her. They won't talk to you or tell you what happened. They keep making excuses. So you're basically, it's kind of like a Phoenix Wright for adults is what they're calling it. So you're going around collecting clues and then pressuring them to give you information as to what happened to her. And at the same time, you kind of learn of what happened to this circle of friends, and there's some conflicts between them all, and some animosity, and it's kind of interesting. It's very slow. The art in it is very good. The music is very, it's very calming. But overall, the story, I would say, kind of wait on this one, unless you're jumping at the bit for a new visual novel. Again, the art's fantastic in it. The story, towards the end, there's 5 different endings. And I've got the one bad ending that it's required before it starts unlocking the other paths that you have 4 more to go to. So, and I'm not really going to put the time into it. I think I got through this in about 9 hours total to get through the first ending. If that kind of gives you an idea of what it'll probably take you to get through to the other endings. There's some extra paths that open up after the first ending, so it's kind of interesting. But other than that, I'm not going to say too much more about that, but yeah. Shovel Knight was finally released on PlayStation Vita. I've been told that this is a game I absolutely have to play. Matt's been on me. He's been trying to get me a physical copy, wanted me to play it in the PlayStation 4, and I just held off, and then they announced it for Vita, so I'm like, I'm getting the physical copy on Vita, I'm going to wait for it, then I'll play it. This also comes with a manual, so it's another one of those weird, rare Vita games that actually has a manual. This is only available through Fangamer.com. I have no clue if they are actually thinking of releasing more physical Vita copies. As far as I know, this is about the only one right now. I don't know if it's still available in the store, but it was only available for pre-order, and how many ever pre-orders they had was the run of them. I think there's about 3,600 of these that were actually made, maybe 4,000. I don't really know the exact amount, but this one probably won't be an easy one to find. Another Steins Gate Zero, one of my favorite visual novels for this year. I was really impressed by the story. I was really intrigued and caught into the whole alternate timelines and finding, what happened. This is supposedly kind of a semi-sequel prequel. I'm not sure yet. Some of the characters return from the original Steins Gate, but I have yet to start this up. I'll probably end up starting tomorrow or later this week. Looking forward to this one just because I was totally hooked on the first. I know Colin from the Sega Addicts was really big in pushing this. He actually said that this was his game of the year. Not quite sure if it's really up to that par, but I will say it's pretty damn good. So, especially if you enjoyed the first one, I have a feeling this is going to be just as good. And, of course, your limited run releases for November. We have Volume with its shiny gold foil cover. Nothing on the back side. I don't know why. No words, nothing. Doesn't even tell you anything about the game. So I have no clue what this is really about. I never looked up videos or anything. But I heard it was coming down and people were kind of jumping all over it. So that one also has a manual. And then one, I'm kind of cheating. This actually came in yesterday, so technically this is a December release, even though it was orderable in November. And that is Stuff Inc., a Glow-in-the-Dark Ultimate Edition. Yeah, I guess this is another weird indie title. I have no clue. One thing, though, that I was kind of surprised at, I would think with the title, Clone in the Dark, maybe they would have like a glow-in-the-dark cover. I did make a comment on Twitter, and which Limited Run did respond back that, in hindsight, it would have been cool if they did do a glow-in-the-dark cover. Who knows? But hey, since limited runs kind of into the whole alternate cover thing, since they're doing it for Odds World's second game, they're handing out at PSX today. Maybe they could make more covers on the side. Limited run, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know if they're listening. They probably have no clue if I even exist. So. But yeah, short month, I should say. That was about it. Been actually caught up with the holidays and everything, so gaming has kind of taken a sidestep. I've also been really addicted to Gwent lately on the Xbox One. I love those Witcher games, and Gwent was addictive as hell when I played that game, and playing the game by itself now is just as addictive. So, if you're out there, look for me. Take on any beta testers that can find me on Gwent. I'm doing pretty well in it, even though I'm horrible at card games. So, that's it. As always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.